Hello guys, Timmy Jammer here. I'm with the coming of BT13. Uh, Today I'm going to do a profile of a deck that's been extremely hyped within the metagame from looking at JP results and just overall YouTubers and content creators talk about the deck. It's going to be Royal Knight. So the whole point of Royal Knight is that it's kind of unique. It's basically like probably the most unique Digimon deck we've had. It's in archetype Megazoo basically. So the whole idea is that you reduce your next Royal Knight by the amount of like guys underneath the sources, so a bit like D Reaper, except they all have like really good on plays and they all get value when they're played, but they get sucked back into the Yggdrasil at the start of your main phase, so they're not around for long essentially. So they're not basically just free damage sources. But then you just have this one big combo turn that just ends the game. So it's kind of like D Reaper a bit, but I feel with the focus on plays and just getting consistent value for your pieces, it's a bit different. So we'll get into the deck. So for the 4 eggs, you need 4 yourself. This is like mandatory. It's a Digimon. It's a Digiegg that will always live in the breeding area, and it will never move. It's going to always stay there. And as the effect, none of your Digimon can Digivolve. Well, it's just like in the breeding area. Um, Next time you play Royal Knight, reduce its play cost by 4 plus 1 for each of its sources. So just by having this on turn 1, this will be reduced by 5 since it absorbs it at the start of the main phase with its third effect. So it's got at the start of your main phase, reveal the top egg of your Jig deck, put it underneath, but most of the time it's put it on top because it looks easier. And then all Royal Knights go underneath it. And it also has the inheritable when you cast a spell with Royal Knight and it creates gain 1 memory back. So essentially this is the whole card of the deck basically. If you don't afford this, you're not playing the deck. It is an SR, which is a bit sad. This is probably like the most expensive deck we've ever had in Digimon. Just to play it at base rate is probably about like 300 euros probably. But yeah, you need for this. And then on to the like consistency cards at the lower end, so like the 4s, the 3s, and some just like good removal. For Omekamon, so the effect of Omekamon is on play, draw a card, and then on deletion you get to put a Digimon with Royal Knight's traits underneath Yggdrasil. So this is just really good as like a way to filter a free card, and then it acts as a damage, but then if it will just die on a check, it just gets you more advantage. Essentially just acts as like an extra 4 copies of like any Royal Knight in your deck, essentially. Um, and there's like times where like you'll play it, you'll put them to 1, they'll pass you back, you'll swing, play out your Yggdrasil, and they'll give you enough to go for the big combo pop off turn. Yeah, it's just a very good card. I think this is like a mandatory 4 of. I see people playing like 3 and maybe 2 to opt into different sister lines. I don't think that's correct at all. I think you need 4 of this because this is your best way of filtering more Royal Knights into Yggdrasil when you're not constantly casting them. And then on to the next 3s. 3 Bonk. I think this Bonk is really good. It's just pitch a card, draw 2, and then it has, as long as you have Royal Knight traits, it gains decoy black red. So so most of the time you're just doing this for the card draw, but again it's just like the Omekamon, it acts as a damage in the early game. And then also there's like unique scenarios where you play the Gankymon, the Gankymon plays the Jesmon, and you have this out. So both your Gankymon and Jesmon just have decoy red black, and a lot of people just forget that and just attempt to go for a removal spell. You just decoy it. It's really funny. And then we're on to Porcupamon. This is a really underrated, just like level 3 removal spell. But it's just so on play and on deletion, it just pops to level 3. So you just play it against like I don't know, like Chikurimon essentially. You pop it, and then if you try to make another one, you just swing, it dies because it's 3k, and you just get to pop it again. So essentially, it just acts as like a 3-for-1 technically, because they have to invest like double blocker. You have to invest like double play cost blocker to keep you off your combo. And also as well, it's just like it's just good against like decks that like make make a 6 and then make a 3 to go for the OTK turn. Because you can just play this against them, prevent the OTK, because they don't have the other damage source. And now actually onto the Royal Knights. So we're on 4 Magnamon. The Magnamon's insane. So it's a 7 costs level 4 with 7k blocker. It has when it would leave the field, draw one, or if you have a Vmon, its sources, or in your hand you get to play it out. So you're never resolving the Vmon a bit of the inheritable. It's just the to draw one. But in the early game, this is just like a really good 2-drop. And then also, later down the line, later down the line, you'll see in the deck, when you go like Purge to play a guy out from trash, so like to play a Dynus out from like from Yggdrasil, and you need like a cheap Royal Knight to play from your hand to proc an effect. This is just really good. Yeah, this is like a really great way of just drawing cards in the early game, and also it's just like a blocker as well. So just playing this down for like dirt cheap to get a free block on the board, and then play like a bigger body is really nice. And then we're on 4 Dynasmon. This is your main card advantage engine in the deck. It's on play, look at the top 4, add any 2 cards with Royal Knights in his traits, or lose them on, and then mill the rest. And it has your turn, when you play another Royal Knight or lose them on, wipe all level 4s on the board. All 4 lowers on the board. So this is just like, and it's 10 play cost, so on like turn 2 it'll probably be reduced by 7, so it won't be for free, which is really nice. So this is your main way of drawing cards in the deck. This is your main way of keeping your hand full, and like because digging 4 to add 2 is really good. So yeah, it basically just adds any card in your deck essentially, from the top 4. Like most of the time, like the best add you'll ever had is like add an Omnimon, add a Galmon, and you'll be chilling. And there'll be times where like it's not even that bad of like a turn 1 hard play as well to like for the cost of 5, because if you're getting card advantage out of it, it's like whatever. And the second effect is really good against like boards that try to beat you down to like keep you off the combo turn. And another 4 of one 4 of the BT13 weapon one. This weapon one's really good. So it's 11 play costs. When Digivolve in main once per turn, you may play a Royal Knight or a green Digimon from your hand, but reduce the play cost by 4. And in all turns, when you play a Digimon, when you play a green Digimon or Royal Knight's trait, all Digimon on the board gain blocker. So this is just really good for when you go Purge, play it off sources, and then affect a Yggdrasil effect to this, because you can go declare Yggdrasil effect, reduce the next one, so it applies on your next summon, and you can go for this as well because they stack. So say if you have like, you'll have like a minus, I don't know, like -8, right? You go -8, -4, your next one's -12, so it's fucking crazy. It's just really good for the mid game when you know you can establish like 3 Royal Knights on the same turn, just give them all blocker. And now onto 3 of the BT13 Alphamon. This Alphamon is fucking crazy. It's just on play, you get to attach a Royal Knight from your trash. All Digimon with 10 play costs or more can't attack the player. So essentially it's a reverse Kongu. And also it has, when it would leave the battlefield, you get to detach a source with Royal Knight or accident anybody to prevent the removal. This works on the King Yggdrasil effect. So if you already have one in the source and you know you're going to win that turn, you can just like prevent the remove with this effect, so you keep the damage on board essentially. This is like a really good defensive tool in the deck, especially when they try beating you down and rushing you. You can just commit to this, and they're like big 6 can't attack basically. And then we're on 1 BT6 Alphamon. This is just a really funny one of in the deck. So the logic is that you're pretty much always going to have at least 1 Royal Knight out. So you just fucking hit this on security, you just stun the entire board. And then also, it's when attacking the end of attack can come up sometimes. So if you grab it off Purge, you swing, gain 3 memory. It could give you enough memory to potentially power on Omnimon or something. And then we're on to 3 BT13 Gankumon. This Gankumon is fucking crazy. So it's a blocker, 13 play cost 13k. On play, you get to play a Systemon from your trash. It never comes up. There'll be like very niche times where you need to do this. or you get to play a Royal Knight from underneath a Yggdrasil, and it gets its on plays, but the only ones you can't play are another Genkumon and a Omnimon. So essentially, this lets you recycle any on play in your deck. Um, and essentially just gives you another free body. It's such a good card. It's for turns where you know you're gonna kill them, or like the turn before you're gonna kill them, because you can get an extra body recycle on play. So like there'll be times where like you go like Ganku, play out Dynus effect, draw, look at top 4, add like an Omnimon so you can win the next turn. And then we're on 2 BT13 Gallantmon. This Gallantmon has, so it's 13 play cost 13k, has a rush, on play when digivolving when attacking, pop a 6k or less, and if no Digimon popped with this effect, pop a 13k or more. This is just like a really good mid-game board breaker. So there'll be times where like, you have a purge, you play this off the purge, you swing, you get a pop, or there'll be like Ganku, play this out, you get the on-play popper guy, swing popper guy. And also it has the effect, if it's the only Digimon on the board, reduces play cost by 2 for every 5 cards in each player's trash. So essentially, sometimes it's going to be like a 2 hard drop with Russian on play. It's really good. And then we're on 2 BT12 Gallantmon. I had to put the top 8 all week up in just to flex. So this is again just like a really good target to play off Purge, and also like on the kill turns. So essentially, it's a 12k, 12 play cost 12k. When attacking, pop a 6, but if nothing was popped, trash top card your opponent's security. Also has raid. So the raid can come up sometimes where you play it off Purge, you go swing into like dead guy to raid into it, and then you pop a 6 or something, or you get a free trash. It's pretty good. And then we're on 2 BT13 All Force. This All Force is really underrated in my opinion. So it's on play. Trash top 2 of your opponent's Digivolution cards of one of your opponent's Digimon for each Royal Knight you have in play. And then it has your turn. When you play a Royal Knight, bounce a Digimon with no Digivolution cards to your opponent's hand. So just by itself, it will always bounce something because it's not a when another enters, it's when a Royal Knight enters. So it sees itself enter. And then also, if you're playing it off like the Gankumon effect or the Leopardmon effect, it just becomes like essentially just like bounce a 6, which is like very good value because you're like ripping 4 sources, right? Also on like kill turns, if they have like one big guy that's like preventing you from winning the game, you just go, oh yeah, I'll bounce it, and then you go for the kill. But yeah, this is like I think at 2 it's fine. I was playing 1 eventually, but I think how the deck plays is that you pretty much just only need 2. So now we're on to the one of Royals. So on 1 Lord Knight, 1 Crania, 1 Kentaurus, 1 Exa, 1 Jesmon. So these are all just like kind of toolboxy options. So the Lord Knight recycles a guy back, and then it has opponent's turn. When a Digimon attacks you, you gain a memory for each Royal Knight I've been play. So the on play never comes up unless you're like specifically cycling back a Gallantmon or an Omnimon. The opponent. So the only time you'd really ever make this is that if you're Omnimoning on the turn, that you know you can't kill them and you're swinging out. But you know that like they can't kill you on the crackback if you do that. Because like sometimes you have to remember that the Omnimon just gives you it just gives you bodies that are unoutable essentially. So they can just become like these really funny like game enders. So yeah, it's just like a really good defensive tool. And then the Craniumon. So the Craniumon has on play, it becomes unaffected by opponent's Digimon. It's a block of 13k. It has end of opponent's turn, choose one opponent's Digimon it has to attack. So this can be really good against like stacks that like 12k or under. You just go play this guy. Oh yeah, cool, attack me, sick. I'll block with 13k, and it just dies. And it can be like kind of like a really good mid game strat. A lot of decks just crumble to this, to be honest. Then on 1 Kentaurus. So Kentaurus is really funny because sometimes you can just be like a gain 3. Sometimes it can be like a gain 3 and heal 1 because of the magnet and itself. And then also it's just like a restander because you swing unsuspend -7k a guy. But yeah, I might never. You never normally summon this in like normal gameplay. It's just there as another Royal Knight name. Then we have one Examon. This Examon like is kind of clutch. So if you're playing off Purge, it just becomes like a 15k body that's gonna like suspend the guy you need to kill, and you get the free unsuspend to swing again. But if you're playing it off like Omnimon, it can just be like a two checker. Same thing when we're playing it off Purge, you just get two checks off it, so it's really funny. And then the one Jessamon. So the one Jessamon is for when you need to kill a larger board that's gonna kill you. So essentially, it's got on play, pop up to 6k DP, and then you get an extra 2k for each Digimon you have in play, and it has plus all turns, you get plus 1k for every Royal Knight you have in play. So essentially, this is really good at outing smaller boards, and potentially just like popping a 6 that you need to kill. Like, the problem with all the Royal Knights that are 1 is that they're all really good 1-ofs, but you don't want to see them at more than 1. Like, they're all just kind of bricks if you're seeing them at more than 1. And now onto the big dog. 4 Omnimon. This card has to be played at 4. This is your game ender. This is your combo finisher. And this is pretty much the only way you're actually going to win games normally. So it's got on play when dissolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon, or delete one of your Yggdrasil in the breeding area to play all Digivolution cards with different names from underneath them. This can play itself off its own effects for the on play. Because it is playing a different name, not playing. It's playing a different name from the Yggdrasil, not from like itself, essentially. But also, this can just be like a removal spell if you see it in multiples, because it's 14. So like, most of the time, this comes like a 5-cost pop anything. It's pretty much like the card you need at 4 in this deck. Like I'd say that like in this deck, a lot of the ratios are like really malleable and really playable. Apart from the Omnimon, you need 4 of it. And then 4 Aura Knights of the Purge. So there's option card which you draw a card and put a Yggdrasil, put a Royal Knight into your Yggdrasil stack, and you get to pop it to play a Royal Knight against Rush. You get to play a Royal Knight from Yggdrasil against Rush, but you can't get its on plays. So that's why you play a lot more like utility Royal Knights as 1s. That have like just really good on-board effects that like have high impact when if they have rush essentially or when they're attacking. And then we're on 3 Marcus just for a memory tamer, and also it's a play cost blocker removal spell because you play it, you tap it -3k to a rookie because they're always gonna be 3k, and then also it just sets you free on the grab back. So a couple notes about this deck. I think this deck is very overhyped. It's like a tier 1.1 at best. I think it comes down to like luck on the day, because a lot of the hands are very bricky. But like if you see your combo pieces and you see like consistent Royal Knights in circulation, it's pretty chill. But apart from that, it's like in my opinion, it's a pretty good deck. I feel like you can pretty much just like clean house in like. If you have like correct matchups the whole day, a lot of decks just can't really play around it. Like I say, decks that don't have access to like good floodgates, or decks that like are like kind of slow, just can't really do anything on this deck because they're just on like a ticking time bomb that can't be interacted with. Like the thing with decks like Mirage can like fucking trounce this deck. Because they just see you're about to win, they just cast Sarai, and you're not playing the game for that turn, or if they hit on security, the game's over. So there's potentially an adaptation you can make where you play emergency shutdown protocols, so that the turn where you want to win, so the turn before you're gonna win, you cast it, they can't Sarai you, and then you go for the combo. So that's potentially an adaptation you could make. I still need to test the ratios. This is like a very early build of the deck, because I got the deck built from pre-release and just from the boxes I opened. So yeah, thank you. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope this is somewhat informative for Royal Knight deck building. Thank you.